With that, I'd like to introduce Police Chief Dan Oates. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also joining me, us here today, besides the mayor and the governor, is the United States Attorney John Walsh, District of Colorado, Mr. Jim Yacone, the Special Agent in charge of the FBI in Colorado, and Carol Chambers, the District Attorney for the 18th Judicial District. I will give you a briefing. I will ask District Attorney Chambers to make some comments, and Mr. Yacone from the FBI. And you'll have to excuse me, but I've got a lot of notes here. There's a lot of information to impart to you. Our suspect's name is James Egan Holmes. Middle name E-A-G-E-N, last name H-O-L-M-E-S. Date of birth 12/13 of 87. He resides at 1690 Paris Street in Aurora, apartment 10. I'll be discussing the situation at his apartment in a few minutes. His history with the Aurora Police Department is one traffic summons for speeding in October of 2011. We have no other criminal history on Mr. Holmes. This event began at 0039, so 39 minutes after midnight. The first calls came into 911. I'm told by a colleague, you could describe it as hundreds of calls coming in. Within roughly 1 minute to a minute and a half, police officers were on scene and apprehended Mr. Holmes in the back of the theater. There were approximately 25 officers on scene within minutes. They spent, besides searching the theater, a good portion of their energy on taking victims and placing them immediately in police cars and driving them to local area hospitals. In the end, with the assistance of our colleagues in law enforcement in this community, there were around 200 officers on scene here. Mr. Holmes was apprehended outside a white Hyundai parked in the back of the theater, and he was apprehended with 3 weapons in the car, and one was left at the scene inside the theater. The weapons are as follow: an AR-15 assault rifle, a Remington 870 shotgun, 12-gauge shotgun, and a .40 caliber Glock handgun. We believe those 3 weapons were used in the scene, and another .40 caliber Glock handgun was found in the car. We're not sure if that was also used in the scene. I imagine I will be asked how many rounds were fired. My answer is we have no capability right now of calculating that number. There were many, many rounds fired. Our best available count on injuries as of right now is that 71 people were shot, and that 12 are deceased. 2 died at area hospitals, and 10 are deceased in the crime scene at this time, and we are making best efforts to identify and remove those 10. There are many critical patients, and I'm not in a position to give you any update on the 59 who were injured. We believe that as part of this assault, Mr. Holmes set off 2 devices to distract the crowd. They ignited in some form and released some sort of irritant or smoke. And we know that his car was parked nearby in the back. Victims were taken to 6 area hospitals: University of Colorado Hospital, Swedish Hospital, Denver Health, Rose Medical Center, the Medical Center of Aurora, Children's Hospital, and Parker Adventist. We are not looking for any other suspects. We are confident that he acted alone. However, we will do a thorough investigation to be absolutely sure that that is the case. But at this time, we are confident that he acted alone. During the shooting in the one particular theater, theater number 9, some rounds penetrated into an adjoining theater. And we know at least 1 person was hit inside the adjoining theater. The suspect was dressed all in black. He was wearing a ballistic helmet, a tactical ballistic vest, ballistic leggings, a throat protector and a groin protector, and a gas mask, and black tactical gloves. We had over 50 detectives respond to the scene, including the 150 to 200 police officers and deputies, and over 50 victim advocates to work with family members. And all our federal partners are here, and we deeply, deeply appreciate their help. We've asked the community if there are any tips, any observances, any witnesses to this event that we haven't already contacted, that they call our tip line, 303-739-1862. In addition, for those in the community who feel traumatized by this event, we have a hotline being offered for Aurora Mental Health for counseling. The phone number is 303-617-2300. The crime scene is rather large. It includes numerous cars in the parking lot. We're doing our best to get them released to the owners of those cars as soon as possible, but we will be here for some time. With regard to the residents, Mr. Holmes lives at 1690 Paris Street. We responded up there fairly quickly after we identified him, and our investigation determined that his apartment is booby-trapped with various incendiary and chemical devices and apparent tripwires. So we have an active and difficult scene there. It may be resolved in hours or days. We simply don't know how we're going to handle that. I will tell you that we've evacuated residents to a safe distance, and it includes 5 buildings in the area being evacuated. We've been asked how many folks were in the theater. We can tell you there were 4 showings of the Batman movie. All of them were sold out, and we have interviewed close to 200 witnesses. As to how many people were in the theater, that's the best I can tell you. A caution about social media. Please, as responsible journalists, be very careful. We are analyzing all social media that is out there about this event, and I can tell you that we are already finding that there are a lot of pranks. There's even someone who called a national media station and represented to be me. Our colleagues in the adjoining mall have closed the mall for the day out of a spirit of cooperation with our investigation.